Good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the first alert desk this Sunday. We are so happy to have you with us. This is quite a lot of news coming in today, and quite a few stories and some good video that we were able to get from some scenes that we are looking into, and some more information. So I definitely want to make sure to be able to share some more information with you on some of the stuff that we've been just working to gather from our editorial meeting, and just some of the stuff that came in overnight. And we have a few updates on some stories that we told you about last night in the newscast. So I want to make sure that we get going, and I'm going to bear with me here. I'm just pulling up some of the graphics that I have built. All right, so I wanted to start with this video that our editors just cut for me, that our assignment editor was able to get her hands on, from Douglas, Georgia, a bit farther from the metro, but certainly some important information coming out of that area. This is some video that you're looking at moments after police say a shooting unfolded at the George Washington Carver Shopping Center. You can see just people running as fast as they can, and you can even see what appears to be gunshots outside of that establishment right there. And now police are not looking for one car or one person. They're just looking to speak to anyone that was at this scene so that they can gather some more information, and as it pertains to the shooting that unfolded there. So I'm going to let this play out, and just so you can get a good look, if you do see anything that, or you know anyone that was there, make sure that you contact the Douglas Police Department and give them that information. Very dramatic video, very chaotic. You can only imagine how you would feel. You see cars running into other cars to try to get out of the area. You see people running all through the parking lot, and then you see what appears to be two big flashes come from outside of the establishment, and it does seem that people are trying to take cover and are on the ground, and people are trying to get in the car. So I'm going to let that video play out just for a little bit longer, just so you can get a good look at that. So again, you can see at least what appears to be at least 75 people just running as fast as they can out of this shopping center. Again, this is the George Washington Carver Shopping Center, and numerous gunshots went off early this morning around 2:30. So that's one shooting investigation that police are asking for your help on. All right, we're going to switch gears now, and we're going to talk about another shooting investigation that we were able to obtain some video from, and this is outside of a food mart. This was very brazen. Police tell us that a woman was shot and killed while she was just walking outside of this food mart located in the 1000 block of Holcomb Road. The woman has not been identified as of yet, but again, this is the 1000 block of Holcomb Road. You can see there's caution tape all up around this area, and now police are looking to get your help in this investigation. If you know any information as it relates to this shooting, you can see the crime scene investigators were out there. This took place in Decatur. Of course, that's in DeKalb County. So if you have any information, make sure that you contact police as it relates to the Holcomb Plaza in the 1000 block of Holcomb Road, if you know anything about this shooting. All right, now we're going to bring you an update on some breaking news that we got into our newsroom. Sorry about that. We had some tight audio coming out of there, but I am going to switch gears now, and we're going to talk about another shooting that took place, but this one was a little bit closer to home. So this is in Cobb County. You're looking at the active investigation along Michael Drive in Milford Church Road. This call came in before the newscast, and we quickly sent a crew there last night to try to gather some more information, because we got word that an officer-involved shooting investigation was underway, and we quickly wanted to get out there and get some information from investigators. And, you know, during that time, very preliminary, of course, not able to get too many details, but now we're learning that a woman was held up at a, sorry, that was the wrong graphic there, but now you can see a man was shot and killed by police. Police tell us that the GBI is now investigating after this took place because officers were called out after they learned that a man was armed with a gun assaulting his girlfriend. That's what the initial call came in as. They told us that a neighbor received a call from that victim, and the victim told the neighbor allegedly that she was being assaulted by her boyfriend and that she was being that he was threatening her with a firearm. So then police went out there. They said that the victim was in the driveway, and so was the man who's now been identified as 33-year-old Murdoch Jackson. That's who police say they shot and killed. They say he was armed with a gun in the driveway nearby the victim, who was also in the driveway, who they initially were called out about. And here's what the police chief had to tell us.
Officers do a hard job. They did a hard job tonight. It was a dangerous call to go to. It was a scary call to go to. They did their job. Unfortunately, it did not end the way the officers, the family, and probably even the victim would have liked.
So, as you can imagine, it's always a tough time when this happens, and the GBI is investigating now. Anytime there's an officer-involved shooting, that's standard practice. The GBI will take over the investigation and see whether or not the officers were justified to use their weapons. So that's the very latest on the officer-involved shooting that transpired in Marietta last night. Now we're going to switch gears to another story that we are working on. This is a story that caught our attention. This is a fire that happened at a therapy horse riding barn for special needs students and children in our community. We are told that no horses were hurt. The fire is still under investigation and no humans were hurt, but now this barn is falling on hard times and they're looking for some community support because their barn was burnt to the ground. So now we have our Atlanta News First, Asia Wilson, is heading out to Bartow County, to Cartersville, to talk with the owner of the barn and get an update on how this all transpired, what led up to the fire, and of course to hopefully get this out to the community because this is something that our community has been able to take advantage of. I love riding horses. It's therapeutic for me, for sure. I can imagine it was definitely therapeutic for our special needs students in the community. And you can see probably we're able to take care of the horses too, give them a nice brush and feed them. So definitely a good time out there. So you can imagine this is hard for the owners. So we're going to hear from them later on in our newscast tonight. But our Asia Wilson has really been gathering some great stories for us, and really community and locally driven. And she's working on another story right now, which I just told you about. But last night she got a story that I also found very interesting because we have been talking so much about the number of shootings involving our youth here in Atlanta and how hard this has been on parents. And many of the parents that I've had a chance to speak to say, we need more programs for our kids to get involved in. And right now, kids aren't in school. It's the summertime and they're bored and they have a lot of idle time. And for parents, we know that that's hard because this is a time when they're trying to maybe afford a summer camp. But now there's a summer camp that's paying your children to show up and learn valuable life skills. So this was really cool. They're paying kids $100 to show up and stay out of trouble. So I'm going to let you hear this story that Asia was able to gather last night. It was pretty awesome.
There's an epidemic of especially youth gun violence in the black community. And we have to start looking at it as a health issue as opposed to being a social issue.
Back in 1995, Bruce Griggs started Operation Correct Start after years of battling his own struggles.
I was suffering from career-ending injury working for the city of Atlanta. I was a recovering cocaine addict coming from the Employee Assistance Program.
Since then, he's created a number of programs feeling divinely inspired to keep Georgia's kids from going down a dangerous path.
God has mandated me to do this work. I've suffered from some of the anger, some of the fear, and some of the pain that these kids go through.
His focus right now is in LaGrange.
Usually programs wait till after the fact. The city of LaGrange has taken a progressive approach. We started out with the call to manhood, where the city of LaGrange brought in kids that were referred to us from juvenile court.
Just this week, Griggs launched Saving Our Sons, Boys to Men summer camp for kids 8 to 15 years old.
We teach that these kids are infected, that they're not bad. So once they realize they're infected, they want to get well.
Bad example. Bad example.
Through the 8-week program, they're learning things like anger management and violence prevention, personal development, education, and their history.
Give them a round of applause.
Griggs also says the kids are getting $100 a week to stay alive and free.
We're going to make sure that these kids can have ample school supplies and the clothes to get back. That's $800 you go back to school. That's all right for some kids.
And when it's all said and done, he hopes they take this lesson away.
That I can do anything through God. If they don't get nothing else from Mr. Griggs, you can't give up. Always be a man. Never give up.
In LaGrange, Asia Wilson, Atlanta News First.
I just absolutely loved that story, and I just love seeing a solution-based story in our community, especially right now. I mean, your kid can walk away with $800 by the end of the summer if they are in this environment, going on cool field trips to the Braves game. I saw it looked like they were in a kiddie pool. Just an absolute delight to see that in our community taking place, and from a mentor like that was such a life experience. But now we're gonna talk about outside. We have some possibilities of severe weather, so I'm gonna bring in our first alert meteorologist, Cutter Martin, who has a lot to tell you about tonight. Hey, Cutter.
Hey there, yeah, first alert radar quiet right now. If you have any pool plans, errands, even the yard work you need to get done, go ahead and do it now. It's warm outside, a little bit on the muggy side, but still get outside and enjoy it, because relative to what is coming up a little bit later today, this evening, overnight, tonight, it is fairly quiet. We have some decent weather conditions going on out there across North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. Again, thank you for tuning in and for watching ANF Plus. Here to give you a check of the forecast, and as folks readjust, maybe come back over to the screen to see what is happening on First Alert Radar. Just want to talk about what's happening at the moment before we get into the nitty-gritty and all the details that you really need to pay attention to as we get a little bit deeper into the evening, really, hours, and that's going to be the pivotal point, the evening and the overnight stretch. I think as we get past maybe 5:36 p.m., that risk of showers and thunderstorms, especially for our north side, will start to increase, but really it's 9, 10, 11 p.m. that the chance of rain and thunder will become more substantial and more neighborhoods will be impacted by showers and thunderstorms, again, as we get deeper into the evening and the overnight hours. So we're going to be watching that potential, but right now, driving home the point that we are fairly quiet, about as quiet as we have been all day. Though we do have a couple showers in a couple different spots out there, going up into far northwest Georgia. This is northwest of Dalton, actually out of our viewing area, approaching the Boynton area. That's remaining out of the area. However, that is a shower to be watched. Could strengthen, become a thunderstorm here over the next 30 to 40 minutes. Little shower near Helen. This too could. The cloud responsible for these raindrops could grow tall enough to start producing some heavy rain, lightning, and thunder. But right now, very, very quiet over Helen. Just a little bit of a spritz there. Heaviest rain by far, and there has been thunder and lightning with this. It's moving into Troup County, out of Randolph County, or out of the far southern kind of border of Randolph County. And we'll put a pause on this and track it here for you. Again, not severe, but it is moving to the north and east. Going to cross the lake here pretty shortly, and then go through LaGrange, over towards Hogansville, Grantville, and possibly up into southern Coweta County if it holds together, including Luthersville by 5:44. Thunder, lightning, brief heavy rain with this particular shower, this particular downpour, as it moves off to the north and to the northeast. All right, we can go ahead and shift gears, going to broaden out the picture here, because we're talking about what we have going on right now, and yes, we do have a few showers and storms, but we're watching what's developing up across Tennessee. A lot of showers and thunderstorms up here are going to congeal into a line, or maybe several clusters of showers and storms, and head in our direction. That's the 9, 10, 11 p.m. risk of severe weather well to the north and west of North Georgia and Metro Atlanta right now, but it will be building in as we go into the evening, the overnight hours. We'll walk you hour by hour through that first alert forecast. This is some of the latest data we have into the Weather Center here. Again, just one run of one computer model, what a computer thinks radar will look like. It has a decent handle on how the day has evolved so far. It gives me confidence that it has a decent grip on the situation going deeper into the evening. Hour by hour, though, again, 80s, partly cloudy, and pretty quiet until we get to about 6, 7, 8 p.m. Isolated to scattered showers and storms developing as we approach sunset, and thereafter 9, 10 again, especially north of I-20 will be the focus for this initial round. And then we see more showers and thunderstorms developing and moving in and out of Tennessee and Kentucky, where they are now. By maybe 11, midnight, 1 a.m., congealing into a line or clusters of showers and storms. This particular model hangs on to a little bit of rain as late as 4 or 5 o'clock a.m. Monday, but as we get into the heart of the rush, even on that slower timetable, it's going to be getting out of North Georgia, Metro Atlanta. Don't think there will be much of an impact to the Monday morning commute, especially not north of I-20, but a few lingering showers possible further south. We will, though, drop that first alert. In the meantime, some of these storms this evening, even into the early overnight hours, do have a risk of severe weather. Wind gust is 70 miles per hour. That's the greatest threat with thunderstorms this afternoon. Hail up to about the size of quarters, kind of that secondary threat. There's a very, very low but not zero risk of a tornado or two, especially before midnight across far northwest Georgia, possibly up into the mountains as well. And keep in mind, any storm that moves through this evening, overnight, tonight will produce frequent lightning and at least some brief heavy rain across North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. Now, going to the 7-day forecast, do want to preview the active pattern we have coming up this work week. We will dry out Monday. 20% chance of showers, maybe an isolated shower or storm as the actual front itself kind of hangs around and moves through, but mostly dry, especially compared to today. Tuesday, another day where, mostly dry, but at least some isolated showers and storms. Wednesday, I think, is going to see an uptick in the amount of rain we see, focused south of I-20 and west of 85. We'll be watching that potential there Wednesday, but right now trending a little further south with the wettest of the weather, but worthy of your attention if you have outdoor plans. And if it does look like your plans will be significantly impacted, we'll throw a first alert on it and draw your attention to it even further. Drier day Thursday, we've actually been able to take out that chance of rain on Friday. Warming up too, a little more muggy. Temperatures in the upper 80s to near 90 in the afternoon. More humid Saturday, Sunday, going to bring back that isolated to widely scattered chance of showers and storms with temperatures back in the upper 80s to lower 90s, and there are some signs for those that love the pool and the lake weather that could get pretty toasty next week. Of course, that is 7 to 10 days out in the future. There is some uncertainty there. Reminder, you can always get a check of the First Alert forecast, First Alert weather app, even if you're out of pocket on the go this so far decent late Sunday afternoon, now early evening, but we do have that risk of showers and thunderstorms still in the forecast. We will see more storms later this evening, overnight tonight. So do keep an eye on the forecast. Keep your rain, lightning, and just in case, severe weather alerts turned on in the First Alert weather app, and we'll be keeping you updated here in about an hour and a half. We're back on TV. You can stream, just like you're streaming this, ANF Plus session. You can stream the newscast at AtlantaNewsFirst.com and in the First Alert and Atlanta News First app. So I want to wish you a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Keep an eye and an ear on the forecast this evening as we watch storms track into North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. Drier weather, some sunshine back in the forecast on your Monday.